Heyo, this is Linsay Rousseau, best known as Elita 1 from the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy on Netflix, and you're watching In Conversation with Amber, the fangirl ATF.
Hi guys, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today is a voice actress. She's best known for voicing Elita 1 in Transformers War for Cybertron. I probably put
her.
I probably put in the wrong way because Zoom always does that. So if I point this way, well,
it's like
that way.
It's fine. I never know which way is being pointed to.
I'll just do this. I don't know. Yeah.
There you go. Cover your bases.
Yeah. I do that all the time. But the voice actress has also been a voice acted for many games such as Monster Hunter Rise, Deathloop, Wasteland 3, Rage 2, Fallout 76, and Elder Scrolls Online. I remember I had a trial version of that on my Xbox a few years ago. I don't remember playing it at all.
It's one of those games that's just, it's still out there and it still keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah. My guest is Linsay Rousseau. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here as well. And as you said before, I love the shirt. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. I had to get it custom made, and had to send a very polite note because they denied me when I first tried to get it made. They're like, "This is copyrighted material," and I was like, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry, Cafe Press, but I'm the actor for this, and I'm making it for myself." And they're like, "Okay, you can make it."
Yeah, that's really sweet, though. Oh, is Elita 1 red or pink? I can't remember.
So originally, she was definitely a pink. For War for Cybertron, they kind of made her a darker pink, almost reddish, because obviously RC is the brighter pink.
Yeah.
And I really like what they did with her reconception for War for Cybertron. I think she looked a lot better than some of the older versions of her were.
Yeah. Is RC in War for Cybertron? I can't remember.
Yes, in season 3, I want to say.
Who voices her? Yeah, it was a lass called Jessica DiGiovanni.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Linsay, how are you?
I am good. Yeah.
I know it's the second time I've asked you that, but I'll ask you again.
That's okay. I'm doing well. Yeah, things have been good. It's been a so far the start. The beginning of the year has pretty decent. So yeah, all things considered, life seems to slowly be going back to normal-ish. So that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And the conventions are starting to happen.
I'm so happy about conventions, man. Because I went to LA Comic-Con, which was a couple months ago, which was nice. And then we had TF Con a couple weeks ago, which was great. And then obviously, for those of us in the US, we have WonderCon this weekend, which I'm really looking forward to. Obviously here in California, we're still masked up and have to show proof of vaccination for big mega events. But it's just so nice to be back, and because, man, not having conventions and not being able to see people and interact it was really hard the past couple of years. It was really hard. And obviously, for artists and everyone involved in the industry, it was hard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pretty much the whole of LA shut down when the pandemic first started out. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So tell me about TF Con. I'm very intrigued to hear about your experience.
Oh man, it was absolutely amazing. It was my first TF Con because War for Cybertron came out. The season 1 came out July of 2020. So we were never able to do anything for the show, which was so unfortunate because we had all these great plans for San Diego Comic-Con, and then we had lockdown. So but it was so fun. The organizers are the sweetest people in the world. They really help you out. And all of the guests were just so sweet. I got to talk to so many amazing people, and it was really, I've never been to a con that's single focused before. I've been to a ton of comic conventions, but nothing that's for a specific fandom. And so it was really cool to see people who just all loved the same thing, even, different iterations, obviously, but just we're all there and loved the same thing, which was really nice to see, because there wasn't any negativity, at least that I encountered. No like Star Trek versus Star Wars fans things going on, things that. So it was a really great experience, and it was 5 minutes from my house, which was also fantastic. So it made for a very pleasant weekend. And it was actually the first time that the cast of War for Cybertron had ever met each other.
The biggest panel at the con, I believe, 12 people.
Yeah, we had the biggest panel at the con. So I mean, I knew, I think, like 3 of the other actors involved prior to this, and I knew the voice director really well. But for that panel, it was literally the first time any of us were meeting, which was really surreal.
Wow, yeah, there was a lot of cast members there. The only really big cast member missing was Jake Fushi, who voiced Optimus.
And then
have you spoken to Jake before? Like virtually?
I haven't. No, I haven't. And Joe Zizia was there, who's Bumblebee.
Yes.
So yeah,
there's there, Starscream, Jason Momoa, Megatron.
Yeah, and it was so great. Everyone was so wonderful, and we just had a blast, just talking and getting to know each other, and yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you had a really good time. What other guests did you meet there? Like, did you meet any G1 cast members? Because I know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like rubbish with names. I am so sorry. I'm so bad with names. But yeah, obviously there was a lot of G1 folks there. Who I of course got to talk to, because we had a green room in the back, so we could talk with each other when we were on breaks or during lunch or whatever. Eric Bauza, who I have met before, but he was there, and he is one of the sweetest human beings.
Tell him I'm trying to get him for my channel. He keeps turning down my interviews.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay. He is like one of the busiest actors out there. I mean, he's blown up, and it's really great to see how his career has gone. I mean, he's fantastic. And then, I'm so sorry. I'm horrible with names, but the other woman who was on the Women in Voiceover panel with us, who was in the very first iteration of Transformers.
Morgan Lofting?
Yes. I want her to be like my adoptive aunt, because she was the greatest person ever. And I could just sit there and listen to her stories all day. And she is just a firecracker of a human being. And it was such a pleasure being able to be on a panel with her. And then, I got to chat with her a little bit afterwards, and I was just like, man, you have lived a life. Like, I hope I'm where you are, when I get to be your age. So that was great. She was amazing.
So, Linsay, tell me about War for Cybertron. When did you start recording? Apparently, the whole cast started recording before the pandemic. Obviously.
Oh yeah. We had finished all 3 seasons before the pandemic. I think we'd recorded season 1 at least a year or 2 years prior to it coming out. I want to say it was either 2018 or 2019. So it was quite a bit before I'm trying to think. Yeah, 2019. I still have it in my calendar. So yeah, I recorded season 1 the very beginning of 2019. And then season 3, season 2 a couple months later, and then season 3 we recorded in August of 2019. So yeah, we were done long before the pandemic hit, because it was all, the animation studio was the one handling it after that.
I was gonna say, I signed an NDA and you have to keep quiet about it for the rest of the year. That must have been really hard.
Oh yeah, I was sitting on that for well over a year and a year and a half. Yeah. Yep. You can't tell anybody. So yeah.
That's so
but that's the nature of the industry, because I do a lot of video games. It's the same thing. I'll work on a project that doesn't come out for another 2 years, 3 years. So
yeah. Are you working on any cartoons right now that you can talk about?
No. I had to think about it. I was like, hold on, let me check the release date on this one. The answer is no. If my credits haven't been added to IMDb yet, or the studio hasn't made an official announcement, there's nothing I can do to talk about it.
Okay, this is classified information, private and confidential. We're not talking about this.
yeah, exactly. But that's the nature of the industry, and and luckily I have an assistant who helps keep track of things, because a lot of times stuff comes out, and of course they don't have time to email all the actors and and be like, your stuff came out. So it's like I have someone who gets notification alerts when new things pop up, and he's like, hey, this was released, and I'm like, cool, let's talk about it.
So tell me, Linsay, how did you get started as a voiceover actress?
Yeah, man, everyone's got a different story for this, I'm sure. But for me, I grew up doing theater. I did theater, musical theater, starting when I was itty bitty bitty, and I was a musician, and that was my life growing up. But went to college and studied other stuff, but continued to do theater. And then was in the army, and then got out, and then didn't know what to do with my life. So I went to journalism school and did that for a while. And then I was like, I'm done with this. And I went back to theater, and was doing that full time in the San Francisco Bay Area. And one of the theater companies I was with, the woman who owned it, her husband was a sound designer for video games. And I'd gotten into gaming quite a bit during that time. And I was like, man, this is something I've always wanted to do. I was actually playing through Mass Effect and as Femme Shep, and I was just like so blown away with Jennifer Hale's performance. I was like, this is what I want to be doing. And so I got to talk with him, and he helped me produce my first demos. And then he introduced me to the agent that he used for all of his casting for his video games. And then I got into training, voiceover specific training. I'd done tons of theater training, obviously, but I got into training specifically for voiceover. And then, so I was really lucky. I had someone who was able to walk me into an agency. Lots of people get into this differently. And then just training, and then auditioning. And then every year is a little bit different or a little bit better than the previous year. And then after doing it for about 6 years in San Francisco, I was like, you know what, if I'm really serious about making this my career, and it's really hard to make a living doing theater. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop theater. I'm going to focus on this full time. And then made the move to LA back in 2016. And it's just, again, I worked a ton of other jobs to pay the bills for a while, lots of other jobs, but then was lucky enough to finally get to the point, where I was making a living. And so, not able to, drop $1 million to buy a house in LA, but, it's like, I can pay my bills, I can pay my rent. And so it's a really good feeling, but yeah, it all comes back to the acting, and, also being a musician really helps. Yeah.
You make me smile so much. I love your hair. You look, I have to say, you look really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, I'm just like daydreaming. Have you met any other famous voice actors? Maybe when you've been in a recording session, if you obviously don't record alone, of course.
No, I have never had a group session in my life. Everything's always been on my own. But at like conventions and stuff, I don't know who you decide is famous, but like, I'm not a big person who really cares about celebrity, but I have people who I really respect their careers. And so, when I did get to meet Jennifer Hale at a convention, I just was like, hey, you know what? I just want to say you inspired me to get into this industry. I really respect your career. And she was so sweet. And we now actually work together on, not work together, but like we do some work for the Help Network. And so I've seen her through that. I'm trying to think of who are I did actually meet Kevin Conroy at Comic-Con a couple of years ago. It was so random. I was helping do a mocap presentation, a motion capture presentation for a company. And I was in the elevator going up to where it was, and he just gets in the elevator, and I'm sure he's like, nobody knows who I am. And I was just like, hello, Batman. But no, he was, again, the sweetest human being on the face of the earth. So it's so funny because like you do run into people, but a lot of times, once you get to a certain level, it's like, oh, these people are your peers. It's like, yeah, they've been doing this longer. They have a lot more credits than you do. But you start to see each other at different social events or like union meetings or things like that. And so they do come, like Sissy Jones, we've done quite a few things together. not in, not involving voiceover, but like tangentially, like nerds vote. Like we did a panel together for Nerds Vote. And so, yeah. And everyone, for the most part, everyone in this industry is just so nice. And you don't have a lot of those people like you do kind of on the on-camera world who are very standoffish. And a lot of that's because in voiceover, we still have a level of anonymity, and that if you're walking down the street, chances are no one's going to recognize you. So there's kind of a different feel. And also, even if you're a celebrity in voiceover, the general population, for the most part, probably doesn't know who you are unless they like go and look up your IMDb credits or something. But like Bob Bergen is one of the greatest voice actors of all time, and he has been an amazing mentor to me. He is so generous with his time, and he'll take time to just sit down and talk with you. He's also an amazing teacher. Of course, before we started, I mentioned McWingert. He is also someone I've now known for years and years and years, and is just one of the nicest people ever. Yeah. And so I don't know. I mean, they all just kind of become either friends or colleagues or, people you're like, man, I hope we get to work together one day. So
wow, yeah, definitely. I
mhm.
was just thinking about meeting Mick this weekend at Wales Comic Con. Wow. My first time going to Wales Comic Con, actually. I'm very excited. And you did say before the camera started rolling that you have been to England before.
I have. It was a long, oh geez, Louise. I was in high school. So this was
that's a saying I haven't heard for a while.
Yeah, this was a while ago, but no, I did come to England. We with my family, we spent some time in London, but then we went out to Scotland because my on my mom's side, my family, and like for the most part, my family, I'm mostly French and then also Scottish. So we're Clan Gregor, we've done our ancestry all the way back to Rob Roy and then some. And so my folks go to Scotland a lot, like every couple of years or so. So we went to the Highlands to kind of trace the routes where our family came from. And, so it was a wonderful time. I mean, and I am hoping, I can't say when or why, but I'm hoping to be able to get to England this summer for something that could be fun, but obviously I can't talk about it yet. But and the thing is I have quite a few friends who are from the UK. One of my dearest friends is Irish, another friend is English. And so it's like, and I'm like huge into British media. Like I watch so much British television and movies. And so like, I kind of consider myself an Anglophile, even though I haven't been able to travel, because such is the nature of this industry. It's like, it's really hard to leave Los Angeles, because it's like, if you're not here to be auditioning and be available, because for voiceover, unlike on camera, like I'll book something and have like, okay, are you free tomorrow? Are you free in 2 days? So it's really hard to take vacations. And man, if I could get a work visa, I would be in London tomorrow and like just working out of the UK, because I like a lot of the stuff that's coming out of there.
Yeah, it's fun. What's your favorite British show?
Ooh, that's a hard one. It depends on genre. I have to say
Comedy,
the IT Crowd, hands down.
Love it.
Hands down. Though the original Office was fun, I just like the IT Crowd. Like that's one of those shows, like I can just rewatch it over and over. And I just like, it never stops being funny. It's actually my ringtone, the theme song for it. Cause I just like, yeah, like it just, it cracks me up. It just, yeah.
Have you seen the emergency scene where it's like, oh one
or whatever it is,
725 3
yeah. I was like, I don't remember the numbers, but it's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic show. And then like sketch comedy, I really loved the Catherine Tate show. A little bit of human.
Catherine Tate's going to Wales Comic Con this weekend.
Dude, I love that. I have like the biggest celebrity crush on that woman. Like she is one of the greatest comedians of all time. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people obviously know her from Doctor Who, but man, if you haven't seen her sketch comedy show, it is good. It is really good. And then Tracy Ullman also had an amazing sketch comedy show that was great. And then like Little Britain, and was also
Have you
so
seen
funny.
Come Fly With Me?
No, that I haven't seen.
It's made by David Wellens and Matt Lucas, the same people who did Little Britain.
Oh,
I recommend you check it out. It's funny.
Okay, I'm definitely, because I love, Matt Lucas is hilarious. And it was so funny because my parents are big into like, the Great British Bake Off, and I'd never watched it because I'm not into reality television, but over the holidays I watched it with him and I was like, oh, Matt Lucas is a host. That's fun. Also super random, but okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
He's funny. I like him.
Yeah.
Oh, who's another comedian I like? I had one in mind, but I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Hugh Dennis. Have you seen Outnumbered?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think, what are some others? I really enjoyed Coupling. That was a great show. Oh, what was the show that Martin Freeman was just in that was not adulthood, but I don't know. Martin Freeman was just in a comedy. It was a couple seasons worth. That was so hilarious. And then there was, like I said, I'm so bad with names. But then there was that other show that Carrie Fisher played the mom. And then she died before they finished the final season. They actually like had a memorial for her on the show. All of you watching are going to be like in the comments, like, yes, it's this show, this show, this show. And I'm just like, I'm so bad with names.
It reminds me, it all connects back to Wales Comic Con because my friend did a biography on Carrie Fisher for our college class, and I'm going to Wales Comic Con.
Oh man! Oh, Breeders. Okay, Breeders was the Martin Freeman show, and I'll remember the other one that Carrie Fisher was in.
I'll probably end up searching it up. While I search it up, I'd like to ask you,
yes.
What shows did you grow up with? What kids shows did you grow up with?
Geez Louise. So when I was young, like I lived in a lot of rural areas. So I'm also of an age. So we didn't get television in a lot of places where I was growing up. And like my dad's brother would record Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and send the VHS to them so we could watch that. So I wasn't able to do, because like in the 80s, we didn't yet have Saturday morning cartoons. And I also didn't live anywhere where I had, cable or whatever. But when I got older, I definitely got more into cartoons, and some of them were older. But like so I wasn't a kid when I was watching cartoons, but I was still younger. I love the original X-Men. I thought that was so funny. Not just funny, but I thought it was just a really good show. So that one definitely stuck out to me as a show that I really enjoyed. And now I'm trying to think of like what other things did I watch like a long time ago? And then like Doug and Ren and Stimpy, like all those 90s comedy shows, like all those 90s cartoons, just Rugrats, the original Rugrats, Wild Thornberries. So yeah.
I need to stop with the connections. Ren and Stimpy, Billy West. Billy West was announced for Wales Comedy Council.
Oh, great. Oh, no. Well, obviously, like, this is not when I was younger, but like Futurama. Yeah. Futurama was fantastic. I've watched The Simpsons since it was on the Tracy Ullman show. So like, and I still watch The Simpsons. Like, I know it's, a lot of people are like, oh, it's dated. And I'm like, you know what? I still enjoy it. It's, it's still good fun.
Yeah, I've just found the show that Carrie Fisher was in. Was it called Catastrophe?
Yes, that's it. Fantastic.
Aired on Channel 4 over here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then Breeders was the Martin Freeman show. It was done for FX in the US, but it might have been ITV in the UK.
What was it called? Breeders.
Yes. Breeders. Hilarious. So for anybody who's a parent,
Sky One in England.
Sky One. Okay. Yeah. It's fantastic. It is like about how hard it is to be a parent, and like they are dropping F-bombs left and right and like losing their shit. And it's just,
I see Alan Armstrong's in it as well. He's a really good actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited. So more talk about War for Cybertron.
Yeah.
Have you watched yourself in it?
Yes. Yeah. So I definitely watched it. I watched all 3 seasons. I watched it when it came out, because that's the thing is, especially when it comes to voiceover. And because you're recording by yourself a lot, like I wish I could have the privilege of recording with an ensemble. It would be so fun. But because you're recording by yourself, you have no idea what the final product's going to look like. Like I saw some early concept art of the animation. I was like, wow, this looks really beautiful. So yeah, I definitely watched it because I was like, I want to see how this looks and who all these other characters are that I've only read on a script. You know, I've never been able to perform with any of them. So
Yeah, I see. And what do you think of it? What do you rate it? What do you rate it out of 10?
ooh, I really liked it. I mean, as performers, we're always very critical of ourselves and the things that we do. And, you know, so there's like little things I was like, oh, okay, that could have been tweaked. But for the most part, I'd give it maybe like an 8. Because I really liked the writing. I really liked how grounded and gritty the story was. I really liked what they did with Elita 1. Obviously, I didn't like that she died in season 3, but I really liked her character arc in seasons 1 and 2. And I liked that they didn't sanitize war, you know, because I've been to war and it sucks. And I really liked that they showed how destructive it can be and how people go from being doctors to being rebel soldiers. Because obviously, this has a lot of parallels in modern society right now. It's like people are sometimes thrown into war and have no choice but to either, you know, defend themselves or to flee. And so I really appreciated that. And I also like Polygon Studios, I thought did an amazing job with the animation. I loved the animation style that they had. I loved it. It was darker. And again, that it was grittier. And I really enjoyed it. And the soundtrack I thought was fantastic. You know, the score. So yeah, I'd give it an 8. I mean, I know there was a lot of contrasting opinions out there when it came out, but I'm really proud of it. You know, it was my favorite character that I've ever played, and I'm glad that, you know what, if I'm never known for anything else in my career, I'm glad that that's a character that I'll be known for, because I really did connect to Elita 1 and who she was. And yeah.
What a lovely statement that is. Oh, Linsay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And wow, yeah, I'm floored by the animation as well. It seems that a lot of people did criticize over the voice cast and the voice direction, but I thought it was okay.
I mean, and here's the thing I'll say to that. You know, I'm really good friends with Phil Bach, who was the voice director.
Phil Bach.
He was the voice director for War for Cybertron. No, he's not a voice actor. He is director.
He did a role in it though.
Oh, I think he might have done.
It was just a one-off role.
It might have been something. Yeah. What I'll say about that is when it comes to casting, when it comes to the tone of a show, the tone of a character, the direction, the voice director and the actor have very limited say in things, and that the voice director is there to bring out your performances, but a lot of times they are constrained by what the studio wants. So when they're doing casting, a voice director can give their selects of who they think would be right for the roles, but it's the studio, it's the producers, the people who have the money who are making the final decisions. When it comes to the performance, the voice director can do what he thinks is right for the role or right for the scene, but there could always be a producer or an exec who's like, no, I think it should sound more like this. So it's not just, it's like, oh, the voiceover is horrible. What were they thinking? It was like, well, a lot of that is out of our hands. And a lot of it comes down to the sound editing. Maybe there was a better take out there, but the editor decided to pull this take, which might not have been as good as that take. So there's a lot of things that go into, and same thing with anything in any acting. There's a lot of things outside of just the performance and the directing that influences how that final product comes out.
Yeah. I'd also like to ask you the one I think this probably be my final question. Oh, this is
Okay.
stressful. Do you prefer recording for TV shows like voice acting or video games?
Well, I mean, it's all acting. So War for Cybertron is really the only animated series I've done. I've done some little things here and there. I've got one thing that's coming out. I don't even know when it's coming out. It's coming out eventually. So obviously with Elita 1, I absolutely loved that because it was a really good meaty part. And so I love it when I can have a meaty role to dive into. But I think the thing that I loved about War for Cybertron is it was very much like a video game. And I adore video games. You know, I was a gamer, but I think the thing that I really like about video games.
And there was a video game called War for Cybertron released
There
in 2010.
There was
11-ish.
no relation, but there was.
Nope.
But the reason I was really drawn to video games as opposed to, because when I was like, man, I want to do voiceover, it was because of video games, not because of animation, because I really enjoy with video games, you have so much time to tell a story, right? I mean, your War for Cybertron, all of season 1, I think was 2 hours. So essentially a feature film. With video games, you know, I've got a game right now. I've gone in for maybe 10 sessions already. And the game comes. So it's like, you just have so much time to tell these vast stories, and I love RPGs. So I love like, you know, Elder Scrolls and Skyrim and God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. So like you have all this time to tell these stories. And when I go in for a video game session, I'm usually going in and playing multiple characters. So it's like, I might not even know what I'm doing until I walk into the session. And I like to scream and yell and shout and die and all those things. That being said, I love where animation is going now. I'm loving that there's so much more adult animation out there. Not saying I don't enjoy the kids animation stuff. Like it's fantastic. But, you know, I remember, you know, when Castlevania came out and then when the Witcher animated movie came out and then Arcane just blew me away. I was just like, this is the greatest animated series I have ever seen in my life, between the voiceover performance, the editing, the animation, everything. So for me, like I would die to be on a show like Arcane. Yeah, I really do have a passion for video games. I really do.
Wonderful. I'd like to tell you a fun fact before I round this interview off. Transformers is my longest obsession, right? I have autism. And I go through obsessions, phases, fixation, hyperfixations, like different shows or celebrities or anything like that. A lot of them have lasted about a year to nearly 2 years. My Transformers one has now lasted for just over 2 years. Just since before the pandemic.
It helps that they keep giving you different iterations, you know, so it's like there's different things to enjoy. Like War for Cybertron is nothing like G1.
Prime,
nothing.
Beast Wars.
Yeah, Prime, Beast Wars. They're all so different. So, and that was the thing I loved about TF Con. It's like everyone has their transform. It's almost like Doctor Who. It's like everyone's got their doctor, right? Well, with and I'm a huge Whovian, massive Whovian. Everyone has like their Transformer version that they liked, or their Transformer character. Like I got to meet the people who love Elita 1. Like they've always loved Elita 1 from the cartoons and the comics and everything. So yeah. It
all connects to Wales Comic Con. They've got tons of guests going.
Well,
if Peter Davison, we've got Catherine Tate, obviously, David Tennant, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker.
Man,
I think
so I will say David Tennant and Catherine Tate, in my opinion, best Doctor and Companion ever. I will fight someone for that. Best ever.
I think the photo ops are sold out. They're like £130 to get a photo with both of them. I know David Tennant's got 5 photo sessions. They're all sold out.
It's because he's like one of the most brilliant actors ever. And I love everything he's ever done. Like to watch him do Doctor Who and then to watch him do something like Broadchurch.
DuckTales as well.
And DuckTales, or like that, the movie he had come out, it was a movie or a show that came out a year ago where he plays the serial killer. I was just like, what? This man is brilliant.
Yeah, because him and Catherine Tate were Scrooge McDuck and Magica de Spell in the DuckTales reboot as well.
Well, and then they did, what did they do together? They either did, was it Macbeth or Hamlet in the West End? So they've worked together a lot, because I think they became really good friends, which makes me so happy, because like they just had such good chemistry on screen. Yeah.
The show where David Tennant plays serial killer Dennis Nilsson is called Des.
There you go.
Believe. Yeah, and he does look like him as well. Obviously, that's not an insult or anything, but
no. But
look-alike, sort of. Yeah, perfect for the role.
Yeah, he was very creepy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just one more question. What Transformers show did you grow up with? Did you grow up watching Transformers?
So like I said, when I was a kid, we really didn't have television. So I obviously was the right age when G1 came out. But I wasn't able to watch it when it was out. I remember watching Transformers when I was like in high school, and really enjoyed it. And even though I wasn't able to watch it a lot, my parents every year gave us Transformers for Christmas, because my parents were big on, when we were growing up, all of our gifts, we always had to get a book. We always got a stuffed animal, and we always got like a game or a toy or something, but they were really big in that it needed to be something that engaged our brains. So either building or something like that. So they loved Transformers because we had to figure out how to take it apart and put it back together. So I got Transformer toys almost every year growing up, even though I couldn't consistently watch the show. I'm trying to look at, I was like, they're in storage. I was like, I think I still have a couple of those toys from when I was younger. But I think they're in storage somewhere.
It must have been a dream come true that if you used to voice Elita one then. Did you have Elita one growing up?
No, I definitely had an Optimus, because everybody had an Optimus when they were, because it was the 80s. It's like everybody had an Optimus. And back in the 80s, like with G1, it's like you had RC, and that was pretty much it for the female Transformers, which, I'm a big proponent. I really want to see more female Transformers, because they did some
amazing
characters.
The Search for Alpha Trion, like Chromia and Firestar.
Chromia is amazing. And if you read the comic books, the female Transformers have a lot more presence in the comics. And like, I know I always tweet out like #ElitaArmy, which I came up with when I was, trying to promote the show, but there actually is like an Elita army in the comic books. There's Elita leading all these female Transformers, which is, I would love to see that, because my whole thing is I don't like gender divisions within fandoms. I hate it. I grew up with that. I grew up when Toys R Us, which doesn't even exist anymore, had the pink aisle and the blue aisle, the girls aisle, and I hate it. So when people were like, Transformers is a boys show, and I was like, you shut your mouth. Anyone can watch this. So, yeah.
I'm just having a quick look. Okay. This is an interesting story. And also Morgan Lofton voiced Moonracer as well.
Yes, she did. She did both characters because she was the only female. She said that she said this at the panel we were on together. She was the only female Transformer in that show, so they had her voice both those female characters.
Marlene Aragon was Elita one in that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think she was in like 1 or 2 episodes or something like that.
Back in the 1990s, early attempts by fans to identify the cast of the cartoon led to Lofting being incorrectly identified as the voice of Firestar. The identity of Firestar's actress has never come to light, meaning that numerous online databases, taking the old fandom guesswork as true, continue to list Lofting for the role. Obviously, not remembering whether or not she played one episode bit part with barely more than half a dozen lines 35 years ago, Lofting has also attended several conventions under the pretense that she played Firestar. And which is not the first time it's ever happened, because the character of Skuxoid, basically, obviously fandom guesswork in the 1990s led to Hal Rail being credited for the role in various online databases. But internal Marvel Productions casting documents would eventually show that Corey Burton was the voice of the character.
Oh, interesting.
I know, it's very interesting. And he literally it says, this misconception led to Rel being cast to perform the character in the BotCon 2014 script reading, Prevenge. The actor himself evidently unaware that he was not the character's original voice.
And that's the other thing that happens in voiceover. Not a lot, but it definitely happens. Like, I've been revoiced. I was in a video game a couple years ago, And I was added to IMDb. I got obviously paid for the session. And then the game came out and people were playing through because I don't have time to play anymore. So I have friends who play and are like, is this you?
Yeah.
So they were sending me clips of the characters I was supposed to have voiced, and I'd been revoiced. So a lot of voice actors have those stories of, oh, the project comes out. And a lot of times you aren't told. Sometimes you are, but a lot of times it comes out and you're like, which is another reason to never talk about anything you're in, because until you've seen it, same thing with on camera, like your scene could be cut and you're no longer in that project. So
I found the internal Marvel Productions documents. Oh, this is a doozy. Okay, so basically on the casting call sheet for the episode Chaos, I'm not sure if you can really see it. If you can't, I am really sorry. It's bad lighting. It says Skuxoid there.
okay, yeah, I see that.
Corey Burton. Tick.
Interesting.
And then obviously you've got the character list. Let me just do that so it focuses. Skuxoid, Corey Burton, SBV. Yeah, because he was with SBV. He's with Jason Marks now.
Well, I am with SBV, so there we go.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Wow.
I am now at the agency of my idol because Jennifer Hale is also at SBV.
Wow.
Laura Bailey and
and
Bradley
Baker
there
as well. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, they're still like my idols, but I'm like,
actors.
We have the same voice act. Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah.
And that was Corey Burton's former agency, so it's even better. Yay.
It's all coming together.
Yes, it all links back. Not to Comic-Con Wales, but I need to stop with the Comic-Con Wales comparisons. I'm sorry.
It sounds exciting. I wish I could be there. I will be at WonderCon.
I wish I could have been at TFCon.
That's okay.
So much fun.
I know. Yeah, it was really great. It was really great.
Oh, I bet it was. Oh, that's a lovely way to round off this interview, Linsay.
Yeah. So yay, conventions are back. Yay. And if any of you all are Transformers fans, hopefully I will be able to see you at conventions. I can talk about this one. I'm going to be at AVOX, which is what does the acronym stand for? The something voiceover experience. It's in partnership with LA Comic-Con. So that's going to be July 2nd and 3rd at the Pasadena Convention Center. Yeah. So I will be there for that. I'm in Genshin Impact now. My character was released a couple of weeks ago. I've got some other exciting announcements coming out about that, but they're going to have like the whole cast, not the whole cast, but a lot of the cast members from Genshin Impact. And if you go to the AVOX website, I think it's AVOX LA, if you are a voiceover fan, this is a voiceover only convention. So some of the biggest names in VO are going to be there. And I'm really excited about that because it's going to be really nice to not feel like you're overshadowed by like the on-camera actors, which sometimes happens at conventions. So I'm very excited about AVOX. So if you're in LA or want to come to LA, I highly recommend it. Yeah, I know it's the same month as Comic-Con, and Canada has their TFCon in July, I think. So it's a busy July, but yeah.
I'm having a look now, and they've got a lot of good guests going. They've got Lex Lang, they've got Sandy Fox, they've got...
Yep, well, they're married, so they always go to things together.
Yeah. They've got Jennifer's going. Who else is going? Joe Zija is going.
Yep.
Christina V.
Yep.
Todd Habercorn, Erica Lindbeck. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of anime people. Yeah.
That sounds fun. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, definitely.
So huge shout out to AVOX LA.
AVOX LA. Wow, that sounds really fun. I wish I could be there. Oh. Linsay, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, as long as you spell my name correctly. I'm the only one out there. It's Linsay Rousseau. Hopefully you are posting the spelling of my name. So it's pretty easy to find me. If you hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, I try to respond to everybody that reaches out to me. Instagram does this weird thing where it like filters messages to like the spam folder a lot, which I didn't even know was there until recently. And I had like missed messages from 2 years ago. But I try to be really diligent about reaching out to people, to responding to people if they reach out to me. So yeah, you can find me on that. If you play video games, you can find me in so many video games. I've got several coming out soon that will be fun to talk about. I can talk about, I will be in God of War Ragnarok. I'm very excited about that one. I was able to talk about that. So that was great. And got a couple other ones coming out towards the end of the year that I think are going to be really exciting. And you can also always watch my talk show. I host a weekly geek talk show called The Rollout. We used to be on our own YouTube channel. We're now part of that hashtag show. So if you go to YouTube, that hashtag show TV is the channel. We drop new episodes every Friday at noon Pacific, or if you prefer podcasts, you can find my talk show in podcast form on your favorite podcast provider.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
Linsay, you have been so great to talk to.
Oh, thank you.
So
It was
much for taking
wonderful.
time out of your day.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This was great.
You're welcome. You at home, thank you so much for watching this interview. Make
Bye.
sure to go follow Linsay on everything, and we'll see you around. Stay safe, stay happy, and take care of yourselves. Bye. Cut.